Hey everybody, this is Renee on the Go Within channel, helping you to go within yourself to find your own answers. Shooting inside today in front of the blue painting because sometimes it is just too windy to be shooting outside. Just too much wind will not work. So we're inside today. I wanted to talk some more about boundary setting. Now, if you've been following my videos for a little while, you've probably seen I have done a couple of videos on setting boundaries and why it's sometimes difficult to set boundaries. So I wanted to give a little bit more discussion and information about that. All right, so this video is for those of you who have difficulty setting boundaries. Some people have no problem setting boundaries. Some people have difficulty with boundaries that are too closed, and their challenge is letting people into those boundaries to get close to them. If you are someone who has boundaries wide open, or you feel guilt about setting boundaries, or you feel a lot of stress, this video is for you. For those of us who learned growing up, or learned at some point in our life, that you could not set boundaries. It was not safe to maybe have a relationship with your parent and still set a boundary. Not allowed, not okay. You could not get love or approval and still assert yourself. So later in life, this creates conflict. Our boundaries are too open, we give too much, we don't assert ourselves, don't stand up for ourselves, and as a result, we may have a lot of anger underneath the surface. When we don't advocate for ourselves and we feel like we're getting stepped on and used and taken advantage of, like we can't say no and we overcommit ourselves or we try to people please, at the expense of our own self-care, we often walk away seething or smoldering with anger and resentment. I could stand here and tell you, well, just start setting boundaries and start standing up for yourself and learn to say no. What I want to give a voice to is that setting boundaries for this group of people I'm addressing, setting boundaries is stressful. To say no is stressful. To say no and assert yourself, or to say your feelings or put your foot down and say, this is not okay with me. I do not allow people to treat me that way. It's stressful. What is the fallout from that? You may assert yourself, and as a result of being totally direct and clear, there's no question about where you stand, and you have done everything right and everything that needs to be done in order to get the message across to the other person. Stop here, go no further. That other person can do one of two things. They may say, I'm sorry, no problem, I understand. There's no issue. What's more likely to happen is that you will get a lot of pushback, and you've probably experienced this. You assert yourself, you're very clear and direct, you're not mean, but you make it known how you feel. And the response is that it's turned around on you as if you are the bad one. Why did you say that? That's not what I meant. You took it wrong. Can't you take a compliment? I didn't deserve that. It's your problem. And so you can start to feel like, well, you're damned if you do and damned if you don't. If you stand up for yourself, you get this sort of nasty criticism coming back to you, like you were in the wrong. But if you don't stand up for yourself, then there's the fallout of not standing up for yourself and the anger you feel towards yourself. What we gotta do though, is we have to take that risk and stand up for ourselves, because we gotta be our biggest and best advocate. If we don't stand up for ourselves, who will? And if we don't stand up for ourselves, we will feel like we're there for the taking, like people can just use and abuse us and like we're a doormat. And that's no good either. So we have to recognize that when we do set our boundaries, people may get pissed off, feelings may get hurt, we may lose relationships. There may be tension with this person every time we see them. Some relationships may get restructured and change for the better. And we will not get accolades from that person. Hey, good job, you're learning to stand up for yourself. That's awesome, way to go to set good boundaries. No. We may think that to ourselves. We may kind of, privately be thinking, yay, good job. But the other person, of course not. They're not happy that you're drawing that line with them. And sometimes, we want things to be nice. We want things to be happy. We want things to be harmonious. The question comes in when it's harmony and joy and niceness, at what cost? And when the cost comes to your own personal integrity, then something has to be done to change it. And we have to take that risk of putting ourselves out there, facing that stress head on, and dealing with whatever stress and fallout happen after. And I can tell you that the reward of advocating for yourself far outweighs any stress that could come, because you will have your own back. You will be standing up for yourself, your integrity, respecting yourself, and not abandoning yourself. When we learn that we can't set boundaries, what we are essentially being taught is that, hey, you got to abandon yourself and just let people, have at you. And when you start to reclaim that, it is so empowering and it feels really, really good. The last thing I want to mention is a quote I heard. I was talking with a friend a few weeks ago about boundaries, and she said that she had heard, you can never get it wrong, and you can never get it done. And this brought me some level of comfort, and then it kind of bugged me a little bit too. But you can never get it wrong, and you can never get it done. So if this is your area for growth, you can be assured that life will keep handing you opportunities to practice this until it becomes really, really strong, until you become an expert. You can never get it wrong. Sometimes when we do have these experiences that come up to practice setting boundaries, we're right there on the spot. We say the right things and we're totally clear. Other times we're not on our game, and we may walk away thinking, shit, I could have said that so much better. I'm mad at myself. I wish that idiot would say that again, because I would say this instead, and I would have done this and this and this. And now you're angry at yourself and at the other person. Sometimes we don't, we have this split second of a couple different ways we could respond, and something comes out, and that's what we go with. And sometimes we don't quite get it as well as we would like, and then we can easily go into beating ourselves up or feeling bad, feeling like we weren't there for ourselves. So we can never get it done, because more opportunities will always come back up for us to practice. So be kind to yourself as you learn how to do this, because it's not something that you learned growing up, I'm guessing. It's something that you have had to learn later in life, and you have a lot to undo, a lot to unlearn in the process of responding differently to people and in the process of being there for yourself. It's not easy. So that's about it for today. I just wanted to give that voice to this other side of boundary setting that we don't often hear about or discuss. So this is a great topic, and if you have questions or comments, I would love to hear from you, so feel free to leave a comment below. And of course, if you have a topic you would like me to do a video on, please leave it for me in the comment section below. Thanks so much. I'll catch you next time.